Our image looks really good and it's almost pixel perfect. Before we wrap this up completely, let's go ahead and sharpen the image. I'm going to use the zoom tool and zoom in on this little boy's shirt. The colored dots you see are called artifacts of the scanning process. Let's go ahead and clean those up a little bit. I believe it's referring to these little dots right here. It's basically dust particles that are on the scanner that it picked up. Let's fix it by going to Filter, Noise, Dust and Scratches. In the Dust and Scratches dialog box, leave the default settings with the radius of 1 pixel and the threshold at 0. Okay, so it's at default, radius 1, threshold 0. And let's click OK. Did you see that those little dots just disappeared? Sweet! The threshold value determines how dissimilar the pixels should be before they are eliminated. The radius value determines the size of the area searched for dissimilar pixels. The default areas worked for us because of how small those little dots were. Now let's go up to Filter again, and let's click Sharpen, Smart Sharpen. Another dialog box will appear. In this dialog box, let's make sure that the preview is selected so that way you can see the effects of the settings that you're adjusting in this window. Make sure that this is checked. Make sure lens blur is chosen in the removal menu. So for removal, lens blur, that's by default. Drag the amount slider to about 60% to sharpen the image. I'm going to zoom in and let's just go ahead and look at them legs. They're fantastic. From Teen Titans Go? Yeah. Okay. Alright, we're moving on. The amount to 60%. If you can't slide the amount slider right exactly at 60, you can also just type 60. Let's drag the radius slider to about 1.5. I'm just going to type it in. And when you're satisfied with the results, you can press OK. Before I close this, I'm just going to, since we have preview on, change this to drastic, and look what's happening right there. So this is the amount. Do you see the amount that it's affecting? Yeah, I'm going to put that back at 60. Now let's play with radius. Alright. So it's removing the lens blur and it's adjusting these values to help with that. Press OK. Alright, so now that we have reduced the effects of the blur that were created by the camera and sharpened our image, we're pretty much complete with this. Let's go to Fit to Screen and take a final look. Looks good to me. Looks sharper. Alright, all we gotta do now is File and save this document. This updates the Photoshop document. Now let's go to File and Save As. I'm going to go ahead and rename this 0 to Photoshop Correction and make sure that I save it to my OneDrive. I'm going to save 2 file types. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm just going to do one because my working it's been updated. It's complete now. And I'm going to save this next one as a different file type, as a JPEG. Right here it says jpeg.jpg.jpeg.blah blah blah. Click that. And you shouldn't see anything in this folder just because you have probably never saved a JPEG, or if you did save your pixel art as a JPEG, great job, you should see your final version of your pixel art. And then press save. For the JPEG options, press OK. And look at that, guys. You are all done with this assignment. Now, if you could please go to Schoology, and under the Photoshop Activity 2 Photo Corrections assignment, go ahead and submit both the Photoshop file and the JPEG. I'll be happy to look over that as soon as possible. And yeah, hope you guys learned a lot and found it intriguing to do photo corrections.